This is the Troll Patrol, live with Justin FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol, live. It's a freaking Thursday. Or Friday, if you're Warlord, TGIF. Greetings from across the pond. Okay, your picture in the Discord. How'd the fucking horse get up there? So, yesterday in the chat, someone suggested that we start a thread for animals. Oh, it's on a hill behind. Okay, so everybody can see what we're talking about here. We started a thread for animals in the Discord. So you're telling me they're on a hill behind the house and they're actually up on a house? You asserted that it was Roach from The Witcher. The only exposure I've had to The Witcher is I played Witcher 3, which was an incredible game. It made me pre-order Cyberpunk. When they did that last delay, I'm like, no, I think I'm not going to pre-order this anymore. And I had a base model PS4 at the time. Did not have my nice PS5. So I canceled my pre-order, and it was a good thing I did. Also, rest in peace, Bobby Eaton. One half of the Midnight Express passed away last night. Let's start off by talking about idiot-ass right-wingers. I've had them hanging from my nuts all day. Multiple right-wingers have threatened me and said that I won't come and call them morons to their faces, which everybody knows is untrue. I'm actually better live than I am over text. But, okay, so one of them got my DMs, or I got in his DMs. I can't remember how it happened. So I ended... Oh, this is the second one. This is the response. So after calling him names for a little bit, making fun of him, I was like, all right, serious question. Man to man, can you answer honestly? I'll stop with the name calling. Now, he came across me on Representative Barry Moore's page. He is a congressman from Alabama. Moore has been on a kick about blaming Biden for inflation. Every day there's a post about it. So my response was the GOP seems to be blaming the current inflation on Biden, but the fiscal year in the country starts in October, so we're still on a Trump budget. The Fed chair is currently a Trump appointee. And I had this article from a right-wing blog in 2019 talking about how Trump's tariffs caused lumber and housing prices to go up, and that it's a good thing. So isn't the current inflation attributable to Trump, and politicians like Moore are lying? Pretty cut and dry, right? Now, what was the idiot-ass right-winger's response? Yes and no for short. So many people that Trump appointed were rhinos. That means Republican in name only, because that's what there's no true Republican. You guys ever learn in logic the no true Scotsman fallacy? That's what he's committing right here. There's no true Republican. And it's pretty obvious said Fed chair is one of these people. Otherwise, Biden would have replaced him. Biden doesn't get to replace the Fed chair. The president appoints the Fed chair every 4 years. I know I'm a right-winger. Yes, you're a far-right fucking nut job. But honestly, I would love to see them all. I'm not going to say it because of Twitch standards on violence, with the exception of a few. Now, those few aren't going to be Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Ariana Presley, Jamal Bowman, AOC, the ones that don't take corporate money, who aren't corrupt. No. To him, the ones that aren't corrupt are like Barry Moore, the one that tried to overturn the 2020 election in favor of Trump. Those are the ones that aren't corrupt, even though those are the most fucking corrupt. Every motherfucker in Washington, for the most part, is crooked, he says. Now, we might be able to find some common ground on that. If you could say corporate money corrupts politicians, then maybe you and I could find some common ground. But no. The ones you are pushing for, the few that you think aren't corrupt, are the absolute most corrupt, and they have you convinced that the ones that aren't corrupt are the fucking socialists. Because you're stupid. I am sorry if you have been led to believe in life that you are not a dumb fuck. You are, sir. You are. Then he goes on to say, which is why most Republicans won't stand up to anyone. What the fuck does that even mean? Most Republicans won't stand up to anyone. All they fucking do is lie about the Democrats, as I pointed out. But they won't stand up to anyone on the other side because they're all afraid all the dirt will come out. What the fuck does that mean? Republicans won't stand up to the other side? I thought Democrats were feckless. That has been my complaint about them for the fucking last 20 years. Ever since I've been an adult. And you're going to tell me that Republicans won't stand up to them. And my response was rhinos. Goddamn, that's your excuse? Holy fuck. This is the reason I call right-wingers morons. Because you are. This is a picture of the dude we were just reading his comments from. This was the Fort Rucker Fire and Rescue, but I used my Photoshop skills. And he also made some comment about, oh, well, I need to go to work, something Democrats don't know about. Well, motherfucker, now that you've seen my Photoshop skills, if you might happen to be watching this show right now and looking at all the graphics I produced, do yourself a favor, look up what a motion graphic artist makes, and then feel bad. Feel bad about yourself, you dumb fuck. And in case you can't see, he's holding up a sign that says, my penis is microscopic. Because it is. Because this dumb fuck got upset that I made fun of him on the internet. And he has threatened me over and over and over again. Multiple right-wingers have threatened me over and over and over again because that's all they have. You are violent fascists. When confronted with facts, you throw a temper tantrum and then threaten people because you don't like not getting your way. You entitled baby. Fuck every one of you. Why I get so goddamn angry at these fucks. Obviously getting through to you is useless, is what he said. No, motherfucker, you're an idiot. You are an idiot. You do not know what you're talking about. You don't know how the government works. And you're full of shit. And you do it in defense of conservative politicians which are upholding the status quo. The status quo don't work for me, bro. I can show you how you fucks have wrecked this country. It started with the Reagan Revolution and the conservative politicians, to where even the Democrats that have been elected in the last 40 years are bought and paid for. They call themselves third way blue dogs. And you guys like to fucking bitch about leftists. You don't even know where you fucking line up on the political spectrum. I'm sure that fuck that I was arguing with thinks he's center of the road. Despite the fact that fucking here's the Democratic Party way over on the right side. Here's the Republican Party way up here in the authoritarian far right quadrant. And we're going to talk about that. Somebody wrote a piece about how misinformation from the Republican Party smells an awful lot like authoritarianism. I've got no patience for you dumb fucks. And they keep threatening me, and they try to act like I'm being a pussy because I won't tell them my address or something. But for some reason, they won't call into my show. 917-830-4359. Or I'll hook you up with Zoom or Discord. Fucking Facebook Messenger, whatever we have to do to get your dumb ass on here so I can emasculate you and prove how fucking dumb you are. We got a great show planned for you tonight. Bill Gates regrets partying with Jeffrey Epstein. I bet he does. Senators Toomey and Wyden got together in an act of bipartisanship to bash the bipartisan infrastructure bill. That should be interesting. A hiker has been found dead after the cop they were with abandoned them. We got a wild picture, I think it was from San Francisco, where a woman is like leaning out a window with an AK. Got a Vanderbilt professor talking about gun violence in the wake of the mass shooting outside of Nashville the other day. We've had too much fucking news to talk about. I didn't even talk about that mass shooting outside of Nashville. We're actually going to talk about that now. That happened a couple days ago. Plus, Mexico is suing the U.S. gun industry. Love it. But first, of course, we've got to start with the existential dread that is talking about where we're going with COVID. I mentioned it last night. We've got fucking story after story after story after story after story after story after story of fucks just like this dude. We're in the hospital saying, oh, I regret not taking the vaccine now. But still, we have a deluge of misinformation all over Facebook. Let's hear from him.
Hey, everybody. Come on again. Say hello.
We can barely hear him for the fucking tubes.
They call it pulmonary. I see where everybody is focused on the COVID patients. This place was basically empty with COVID last week, and now it's full. So it is growing, and it is getting stronger. Hate to hear, lost a couple acquaintances in the past 24 to 36 hours. COVID.
We're talking about COVID. Cuomo has nothing to do with anything. We've done the Cuomo story. It's bullshit. He should resign. He's not going to. He's going to get impeached. I don't know what the fuck else there is to talk about. But right-wingers just want to divert from actual information and talk about nonsense. And I'm sick of it. Yeah, and if you start posting quotes and shit in my chat, you're going to get banned. I don't want to have to ban anyone. I want to stand for free speech. I'm all about free speech. But unfortunately, there are people that have ulterior motives that want to post bullshit in my chat and then get me removed from YouTube. So I'm going to have the moderators be a little bit heavier on the bans. Because for some reason, idiot-ass right-wingers don't want someone up here talking about facts like me. Because they're morons. Or they're literally evil.
This Delta strain is something else. I would ask you, if you thought that you had to sit down.
I mean, listen to this. This is an 8-minute long video. If you had given me the copy of everything he said, I would have been able to say it in a fucking, 45-second little blip. The dude's taking 8 minutes to get this out because he's having such trouble breathing. But idiots still want to come in here and talk about misinformation dealing with COVID.
And plan your goodbyes and funeral. Or go get the COVID vaccine. What you do? I'd hope to God that all my friends
God ain't gonna save you, dude. God ain't gonna save you.
and
And if you actually believe in God, then God sent the fucking virus. God wants you dead.
that's a sobering thought, of which I have done. I have planned. Another thing I'd like to talk to you about is sharing.
Sharing is caring. I assume he's going to go on to say, like, you need to share in responsibility and get your fucking vaccine so you don't end up like Travis Campbell. Apparently he's been posting every day from his Facebook. This is one of his latest posts. I hope he's not too sick to post yesterday and today, because this was the latest post that he had up. Article that I was reading said he had been posting every day. So, dude, I hope you're not taking a turn for the worse. But also, like, we've been saying it this whole time. Just get vaccinated. Jesus. The data is clear. Fitness enthusiast, 42, who rejected the vaccine, dies of COVID. Fitness enthusiast. A fit and healthy 42-year-old who loved climbing mountains and lifting weights has died of COVID-19 after refusing to get vaccinated, leaving his twin sister and mother heartbroken. The two women warned others not to think they are invulnerable to the dangers of the virus. The father of one, John Ayers, a construction expert from Southport in Maryside, is described by his sister, Jenny McCain, as the fittest, healthiest person I know. She added that her brother had been climbing Welsh mountains and camping in the wild just 4 weeks before his death. He was left in intensive care after catching coronavirus and told his consultant before he was ventilated that he wished he had been vaccinated. His twin said his death was a tragedy. Danielle, somebody needs to ban you. That is bullshit. Now, the problem with the vaccines is that if everybody just keeps passing it around, it will indeed develop vaccine immunity. That is a possibility. And that's why we need to get it under control. But the idea that the variants are coming from the vaccinated is fucking stupid! How does somebody come in here and say such a stupid fucking statement? I wish you people could feel embarrassment. Meanwhile, a city councilman, I think we talked about this last night, anti-vaxxer, mocked the vaccine. Dickinson city councilman dies days after contracting COVID-19. Happened in Galveston County, Texas. At age 45, Dickinson City Council member H. Scott Apley, an avid COVID denier and anti-vaxxer, passed away after testing positive for COVID-19 on Wednesday, days after posting anti-vaccination memes on his social media. After having taken to Twitter in April of this year to criticize Dr. Leanna Wen for touting vaccine efficacy. I've said it a million times, you don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't tempt fate, fuckers! Meanwhile, China is back to lockdowns and is ordering mass testing in Wuhan as COVID outbreak spreads.
2019. A seafood market in Wuhan, China was shut down after officials reported that it was connected to an outbreak of...
I believe this isn't a piece having to do with what we're reading. China suspended flights and trains, canceled professional basketball league games, and announced mass coronavirus testing in Wuhan on Tuesday as widening outbreaks of the Delta variant reached the city where the disease was first detected in late 2019. While the total number of cases is still in the hundreds, they are far more widespread than anything China has dealt with since the initial outbreak that devastated Wuhan in early 2020 and over time spread to the rest of the country and the world. China has not eliminated but largely curbed COVID-19 at home with quick lockdowns and mass testing to isolate infected people whenever new cases pop up. Like you're supposed to do, instead of just letting it run fucking wild. Most previous outbreaks didn't spread far beyond a city or province. This time, cases have been confirmed in more than 35 cities in 17 of China's 33 provinces and regions. Cities of Nanjing and Yinghao have canceled all domestic flights, and Beijing has halted long-distance trains from 23 stations. The Chinese Basketball Association said that matches of its men's professional league would be suspended because of the pandemic. Wuhan, a provincial capital of 11 million people in central China, is the latest city to undergo citywide testing. 3 cases were confirmed there on Monday, its first non-imported cases in more than a year. They were among 90 new cases confirmed nationwide the previous day. The National Health Commission said Tuesday of those 61 were locally spread, 29 among people who had recently arrived from abroad. Now, we had mentioned that cases had started decreasing in the UK, and researchers aren't exactly sure what caused that. Now, we are starting to see another uptick of cases over the last couple of days. So, still holding out for more information about exactly what is going on in the UK. Because a lot of right-wingers have already started touting the UK lifting restrictions and their cases going down. But apparently, they're not decreasing anymore. They're holding pretty steady. A doctor has called misinformation a hallmark of authoritarianism, and he is correct. GOP is pushing anti-vax disinformation and acting like an authoritarian regime. God damn, I could have told you that forever ago. Dr. Peter Hotez has been battling vaccine disinformation for years, but he was still shocked to see United States senators like Ron Johnson peddling anti-vaxxer agitprop. Historically, that is what authoritarian regimes do. Anti-vaccine, anti-science aggression has extended to the individual scientists. Correct! And it's just more of the GOP's assault on anything remotely resembling educated, smart people. Because you have to assault smart people because only dumb people fall for their bullshit. So the goal is to make smart people just so cynical that they give up on actually trying to win arguments. Because instead of getting through to people, you get people like this dumb fuck whose cognitive dissonance is so strong, he's like, obviously there's no getting through to you. There's no getting through to you, dumb fuck. You're the idiot here. Once again, I'm very proud of the picture I made of him. They did this in China, where scientists who tried to raise the alarm about COVID were brutally repressed, and that is what is going on right now by elected members of the United States Congress, and we've got to do something about it. And we see this over and over again with the GOP. Like their assault on athletes who won't stand for the fucking pledge. And they always compare it to China. That's the weird thing. In China, they make you pledge allegiance to the fucking party. I'm still stunned they had that Chinese dissident on Fox. And she was talking about how the protests against the national anthem reminded her of China. What? How? Why do you need to show your allegiance to the GOP by trying to delegitimize science? It shows this lack of understanding of American history. Our nation is a nation built on science and technology, right? Or it's built on our great research universities and land-grant universities. And this is what allowed us to defeat fascism in World War II and the Cold War and make such great progress in HIV/AIDS is through science. And this bizarre twist that is being patriot means you have to attack science and scientists. That's something I never would have imagined. But now we can all see the impact. Coronavirus cases peaking in Florida, ICUs packed in Arkansas, more than 50,000 dead in Texas. From the pro-life party. This is the destructive nature of the disinformation campaign that we've allowed to go unchecked for so many years, and now we're paying the price for it in a huge way. This is devastating for whole regions of the country, and it's going to have devastating consequences for the South and some of the Mountain West states, and it's going to show itself in young people being hospitalized. You see so many young people with long COVID. And the frustration is you see it coming, and not being able to manage it is extremely frustrating for me. That was from Hotez, Dr. Peter Hotez. That was his quotes. It's extremely frustrating for me, who has been talking about it for weeks now. I've seen it coming. All completely preventable. Speaking of authoritarian regimes, the Knox County Health Director, Dr. Martha Buchanan, has resigned effective in October, I believe it is. This woman has come under a hell of a lot of scrutiny thanks to the mayor of Knox County. His name is Glenn Jacobs, better known as WWE's Kane. When we're talking about assaults on science, Kane made a fucking WWE-esque video assaulting the health professionals in Knox County. Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Apparently she is going to step down on December the 31st. Let's hear the story.
All right, an update to that breaking news that Knox County's health director has resigned this afternoon. A statement from County Mayor Glenn Jacobs. He says, I understand her decision. I was surprised by it. We are so fortunate to have had her in Knox County. Her job is high.
Surprised by it?
Even more stressful because of COVID. Dr. Buchanan also making a statement.
Her job has been more stressful because of idiots like fucking Kane.
Chapter of her life. Well, a cold-hearted thief. All right, an update to that breaking news.
I mean, I guess that's nice of him to say that after, he was literally one of the people assaulting her. Meanwhile, in Missouri, I thought it was Missouri, but I didn't know for sure. The Missouri coroner removing COVID-19 from death certificates if families request. Holy fuck. Missouri coroner revealed that he has omitted COVID-19 on at least 6 death certificates if families requested it in cases where other major factors may have played a role. I've been saying it that it's been an undercount. And then multiple studies have proven that the death toll is an undercount. Macon County Coroner Brian Hayes, a Republican elected official, because of course he is, back to this authoritarianism, told the Kansas City Star that a lot of families were upset and didn't want COVID on the death certificates. Facts don't care about your feelings, snowflakes. God damn.
You think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
Yes. Incredibly stupid. That's all it is. Hurt fifis. That is, they accuse us of being the sensitive ones. I've got a guy threatening me because I made fun of him on the internet. Happens to me every goddamn day. They get triggered because I call right-wingers morons because, you know, they fucking are. I won't lie for them. It's got to be true, but I do what pleases the family, the coroner said. The coroner, who is also a partner at a local funeral home, explained that the requests from families have only been fulfilled in cases where other conditions, such as pneumonia or long-term smoking, were also determined as central factors in contributing to a person's death. Oh, goddamn. Playing politics. And this is contributing to our undercount. And another thing is, like, a lot of people that are vaccinated aren't going to go and get tested because their symptoms are going to be mild. Please go get tested if you feel sick. We need to get a grip on exactly how many people have it, where it's spreading. And once again, I almost deleted the app off of my phone. I'm glad I didn't. If you live in a state, I think all states have it. What the fuck is the name of this app again? The Guide Safe app. You get the Guide Safe app, or whatever the app is for your state, so that we can get accurate data on who exactly is feeling sick. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has said that COVID-19 is only listed as a cause of death if the person would have lived longer without contracting the virus. According to the CDC, roughly 92% of cases where COVID-19 was listed on someone's death certificate were situations in which the virus prompted a series of events that ultimately led to the person's passing. However, the Star noted that Hayes' alteration of some death certificates makes Macon County's COVID-19 death count higher than the 19 total reported by officials. The revelation also comes as health officials have warned that the true coronavirus death toll across the U.S. is likely higher than the official tally of more than 611,000 reported by the CDC as of Tuesday. Now, good news. Moderna vaccine remains 93% effective against symptomatic COVID.
It's a clinical update from Moderna. The company is reporting that its COVID-19 vaccine is 93% effective after 6 months. This is coming from Moderna. Moderna booster shots show, quote, robust antibody responses to COVID-19 variants, including the Delta variant.
So, heck yeah. That's some good news. So far, our vaccines still work against the variants. Even the Lambda variant, the efficacy goes down just slightly, but is still highly effective against the Lambda variant. So, literally, we have a magic bullet to end the pandemic, but there are still fucking idiots in this country. I'm not sure about that. Like, you mean like if we called it SARS-CoV-2? I'm not exactly sure the. I mean, I with the branding on the Obamacare, like, here's the thing is, like, in Kentucky, it's called Kentucky Connect. It's Obamacare, but if you take Obama's name off of it, Kentucky Connect is highly popular. You call it Obamacare, and the polling goes down because idiot-ass Republicans are susceptible to propaganda. Same fucking thing, but no. Call it Obamacare, and they hate it. Call it Kentucky Connect, they love it. Because right-wingers are morons. There seriously could not be a Republican Party, or at least a Republican Party in its current form, if it wasn't for idiots. All right, the Senate was in session today. We are going to hear from two senators The first one is Pat Toomey. And we're going to hear from Republican Ron Wyden. The first one's Democrat Pat Toomey. We're going to hear from Republican Ron Wyden.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to address an opportunity.
Coming together on bipartisanship,
a flaw in,
but not in the way you might think.
Provision in this infrastructure bill. I want to thank my colleague from Oregon and our colleague from Wyoming. The three of us have been working on this, and I really hope we get this done. I'm going to insist on having a vote on this. And let me just give a little context here. So we're all aware of this new category of assets some would describe as currencies, which are also called cryptocurrencies. And this is a fascinating development. Actually, some have been around.
How are we getting into cryptocurrency
they've
here?
come into the public eye in a much, much bigger way in recent years, very recent years. And while sometimes we think of this as some kind of unit of value that is traded and has some pretty spectacular volatility sometimes, for me, while that's very interesting, what's much more interesting is the underlying technology and what that might make possible.
I will teabag your Sky Ferry all day long.
About all the possibilities of the distributed ledger technology, the methodology by which cryptocurrencies can be exchanged without an intermediary. There's no bank that the money has to go through.
Wait, they're going to hold up the bipartisan infrastructure bill over some bullshit with cryptocurrency?
Around the globe actually validate the legitimacy of a transaction, and it becomes immutable. And
remember, I do not watch this shit before I do the show. We're both hearing this for the first time together.
And there's a permanent record.
And I'm not high enough for this shit.
Models where it's different. But this is an amazing technology that has tremendous potential. We had a hearing in the Banking Committee just last week that, at my request. The chairman agreed to a hearing where we talked about some of the use cases for this underlying technology, and we heard some amazing things. So the most common activity now is trading in these digital currencies, whether it's Bitcoins or Ethereum or others. There's many, many of them. And that's the biggest single activity, but there are very, very important and interesting.
Well, I mean, this bipartisan infrastructure bill is supposed to be, brick and mortar. It's supposed to be bridges and roads.
To have this
What does cryptocurrency have to do with this?
dispersed mechanism for validating ownership.
But I am convinced there are people on both sides of the aisle that want to torpedo this bipartisan bill.
The title to their house, the title to their car, your ownership of the stocks that you bought from your...
Despite the fact that it, moved forward with like 67 votes.
We've developed very expensive, actually, and sometimes time-consuming processes by which we do this. This can all be done on the blockchain. This can all be done almost instantly, at almost no cost. And I think that this is the direction that we're going to be heading in. That's just one example. There's another whole category that's fascinating to me, which is what people refer to
Blockchain is a fascinating technology.
Think about it. Programmable money, what is that? Well, here's a great example that we heard at our hearing from a witness who works for a company that actually provides these kinds of services. But here's an example. One of the things that's always been a challenge is how do you ensure that, say, a person who has a copyright is properly compensated?
I don't care. I'm a content creator. I don't care.
And when we played music in the background to create a certain ambiance in our restaurant, how do you make sure that the people who have the copyright on those songs gets paid properly for that?
Well, that is an ASCAP BMI thing.
It's completely arbitrary.
No, it's not. You pay for a service. That's what radio stations do. That gives you the rights to certain catalogs.
Capability, where if I listen
between BMI and ASCAP, you have the rights to pretty much fucking anything. And that's what venues do it as well. They pay their BMI ASCAP rights so that when bands come and cover songs at an arena, they are covered by the copyright.
To the person who owns that copyright. That is completely doable. And
BMI and ASCAP distribute the fees to the artists or the publishers.
Just to provide a little tiny glimpse and illustration of the kinds of amazing things that I think this underlying technology is
Agreed.
is likely.
Every single person will say that this country is going in the wrong direction.
Background because
Every single fucking person. Right-wingers will agree with me. The country is going in the wrong direction. Well, so explain to me, conservatives have been in the majority in states and federally for the last 40 years. So much so that even the Democrats ran as conservatives, the third way, blue dog, corporate Dems. So if everybody agrees that the country is going in the wrong direction, stop supporting the people that are supporting conservative policies. Go the other direction. Support the leftists that don't take corporate money. At least give it a try, please. The unfortunate thing is that we need everybody to work with us collectively in order to make that happen, in order to get the corruption out of our politics. But right-wingers, I don't know what's wrong with them. They don't want to listen to facts. A lot of times they will point out things that like we can agree on or issues, but then their solutions are always, because they'll point out something and I'll be like, oh, well, that's capitalism. And they're like, no. The problem is government. We need to eliminate the EPA and the Department of Education. What? I can't do it.
Legislation. There is a very reasonable intent, but I think the drafting doesn't get it quite right. The intent is to say, for those exchanges, for those places where people go to buy and sell cryptocurrencies, and there are centralized exchanges where that happens every day on a huge volumes. We want to require these exchanges.
Oh, I totally agree with the skimming the middle people. I'm well aware. I have no love for publishers. I was just explaining to him how a restaurant would go about doing that. A restaurant pays for the service to play the music. I'm of the opinion that artists should go completely independent. Do the Modest Mouse fucking route. Like, now granted, they had one radio hit that they could fucking play off of for years. But you know, they're completely independent. They make their money from shows and selling t-shirts and shit. Don't sign to a record label. Bad move now. Do everything independent. Own your music. Don't even get me started about the fucking music business and all the like bullshit that comes with it. Like Lemmy fucking saying like, do not buy that box set of demos. We don't make shit off of that. We don't own those demos. There's a lot of bullshit in the music industry, and I could do hours upon hours of talk about that. I love me some Modest Mouse too, Crix. I've seen them twice. I have tickets to see them next month. I don't think it's going to happen. It is outdoors, though, and if it does happen, I'm going to go. I'm going to wear my N95 mask. Ain't buying no more concert tickets. I bought that concert ticket back in May for my birthday. You can say I'm lucky, but I still haven't seen them do all the songs I would like to watch them do. I haven't seen The Good Times Are Killing Me, Satin in a Coffin, The Best Room off of the new album. That's one of my favorites. They haven't done Cowboy Dan when I've seen them. ICP did the underground route. I highly recommend it. And ICP did it before you had the internet widely available and social media widely available. So mad props to them.
Reporting requirements that a conventional broker...
I'm going to be down with the clown till I'm dead in the ground.
So in other words, we want the folks who run the exchange to report the name.
That's like the only ICP song I like. I'm sorry.
Social security number, the dollar amount. And all of this is because people buying and selling these cryptocurrencies are generating capital gains and losses. It's an asset. If you sell it later after a gain, you should have to pay a capital gains tax on that asset, if you, depending on how long you've held it. If you've lost money on it, then you ought to be able to take that loss against gains that you may have elsewhere. So
I'll listen to that one after I get off here.
to have
I don't know it off the top of my head.
requires the reporting of the transaction. That, I think,
I know fucking magnets. How do they work?
unfortunately, the way it got drafted, to my reading, and I'm certainly not alone, I think this is almost universally acknowledged.
No, those two motherfuckers are like, I want to hate them so bad, but they've always been so cool.
On people
Like writing the check for Mick Foley for the royalties for the matches they had on the DVD.
about the person making the purchase or the sale. So, for instance, it might very well be
I
interpreted
love me some Sublime.
impose this reporting requirement.
I didn't mind the album with Rome.
The people who are involved in the arithmetic process by which you validate transactions. They don't even know the names. They get a numerical representation of the transaction. They don't know who's behind it. They have no idea. They have no way of knowing. So it's not a reasonable, not an even slightly reasonable burden to impose on them.
Was I wrong that they were talking about the infrastructure?
Example,
To warn of a flaw in the bipartisan infrastructure bill.
it wasn't intended that way. The good news is it can be fixed. And Senator Wyden and Senator Lummis and I have come up with language that fixes this problem. It would make sure that the reporting requirement on a centralized exchange, the folks running that who have this information would in fact have to report it. They don't right now. There's no statute, there's no regulation that requires that.
I feel like this is a separate issue
And the industry is fine with that.
from the infrastructure bill.
They should have to report this. But they also recognize that it should only be imposed on people for whom it makes sense, right? To people who actually have that information. So our amendment,
He seems to be
it fixes this.
saying that it's like an exciting technology, but also saying like, oh, we got to warn about the dangers.
We're having a little trouble getting the ability to offer this as an amendment here on the Senate floor on this bill. I am not here to ask that we simply
I'm still not sure where I stand with it.
welcome
I don't.
debate and welcome.
Because without a government backing a currency, I don't know how it's sustainable. But also I know jack shit about finance. So I am definitely not the one to talk about the future of crypto, though I've been trying to get into the mining of it because I'm sitting here behind a very powerful machine, so I might as well let it work for me when I'm not doing work. A lot of people do not know that. If the U.S. government was to pay off all of its debt, there would be no money in circulation. The U.S. currency is actually debt. I know Republicans like to throw around we owe money to China, blah, 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 blah. The vast majority of U.S. debt is owed to the American people in the form of our currency. Now, right-wingers love to talk about inflation, and I point out that you can only do two things. You can only do two things monetarily. You can raise taxes on rich people, or you can print more money. Now, I'm not an advocate of printing more money. I'm an advocate of raising taxes on rich people. I think you do indeed devalue the currency when you print more money. That's what causes inflation. But you have to print more money to keep the game going when rich people are sucking trillions out of our money supply and just sitting on it. Right-wingers love to talk about systems of redistribution, but that's all anything is. A job is a system of redistribution. A tax system is a system of redistribution. They love taking words that are mundane and turning them into buzzwords that they can stick on a bumper sticker. Oh, that's redistributive. That's communist. I mean, our current money isn't backed by gold. It is backed by the faith of the U.S. government. And I feel like if we don't take more money from rich people and put it back into circulation, then the faith of the U.S. government is going to collapse and the dollar is going to collapse. And then what is crypto if it's not based upon the dollar? Now, if people have an answer to that, I'm more than willing to listen. I know nothing about finance. But I also feel like while I know jack squat about finance, I know more about finance than your average dumb fuck Republican. I can actually somewhat explain how our economic system works, the fractured reserve banking system. Yeah, socialist commie. They love calling Biden a communist. I don't get it. He is bought and paid for by the U.S. credit card industry. But hey, I make a lot of right-wing propaganda, right? Because I'm a freelance contractor for audio-video services. I edit podcasts for a very right-wing podcast network. It's more of an educational podcast than it is like propaganda. But I about fell out of my seat the other night. I'm sitting here doing my editing. And the host said that John D. Rockefeller was a secret socialist. And I'm like, do you know what words mean? John D. Rockefeller was a secret socialist. I don't know what crypto is. Like, it has to be based upon something in order to understand, in order to have a value, right? Like, it has to be set. All other currencies are set in relation to the dollar. So I was just assuming crypto is as well. Because in order for a crypto to have value, you have to measure it against something, and that's the US dollar. Because that's what all other currencies measure their worth based on. But also, I don't know fucking shit about crypto. Fucking PragerU. Yes, I work for several organizations that are wannabe PragerUs. And that's awesome. That's my next step. I make a lot of... I also work for educational companies that make legitimate educational content. And I loved, especially when, a few years ago, that's how I got started in freelancing. I worked for like one of the biggest educational video producers in the country. And I loved doing that, other than the fact that they kept giving me like shit I wasn't interested in. It was always math or like really high-level sciencey shit or nursing. And I'm like, oh man, why can't you give me some philosophy or literature or something? Give me the arts. Because it really seemed like, you know, like my video editor status had been pegged to one specific or two or three specific categories. I really didn't like that. But one of the things that my next step as a YouTuber is to start producing my own content that's in the vein of a PragerU. And the first one I'm going to do, and I've already got it scripted out and everything. I've just been lazy. I'm sorry. I've been playing video games. I've been playing Immortals Phoenix Rising. That's what I've been on now. I think you start with Aristotelian logic in like 8th grade. Like you don't start with any kind of philosophy younger than that. But you do like baby logic in 8th grade, and then by, you know, their junior, senior year, they have to take a class where they're actually arguing like Descartes, like what is the mind, what is existence. Get into some Kant and the existence of God. That's just me, though. That's just me. I think, like, Descartes, especially. And then to do some politics. Get them brushed up on some Locke and some Hobbes. Especially because Locke and Hobbes tie so well into the founding of the U.S. But it's still pegged to the dollar, though, right? Because you're still able to exchange crypto out for the dollar. And like you would measure its worth by the dollar. Yeah, it's Red Scare bullshit. That's exactly what it is. And it was really effective. It was really fucking effective. And that's one of the things I'd like to point out, like this fervor on the right for this nationalism. They want you to say the pledge, and they want you to stand for the anthem and shit. Like, the pledge, like, that didn't come into being until, like, the turn of the century. And it was a flag company, like, that had this essay contest because they wanted to sell more flags. It was a marketing gimmick. The pledge is a marketing gimmick. The Pledge of Allegiance is a marketing gimmick. It didn't exist when we were founded. In God We Trust was put on our money during the Red Scare. But it's effective. It is effective propaganda. Our founders knew that. Jeremy Bentham? I don't know him. Is that a YouTuber? I'll have to check them out. Good one, Tones. Producer Dave from Echoplex was talking about doing a new atheist panel because so many of us, you know, like came of age in the new atheist movement. Like, Hitchens was my fucking idol. Oh, okay. Utilitarianism. I thought he was like a YouTuber. I was gonna look at. I lost my train of thought. All right, this next clip is called Brian Levin on hate crime regulations. Okay, Tones, here's the thing. Like, I've read all his books, his essay books and everything. I worry about where Hitchens might have, like, would he have gone the Sam Harris route? I like to think that Hitchens was smart enough that he wouldn't have been, like, Trump adjacent. The Selfish Gene was a great book. Dawkins himself, not that good of a guy. Arg. I have the Hitchens collection, arg, that I acquired through totally legal means. The only book I have a physical copy of is God Is Not Great. And I kind of just liked reading it out in public. Because I'm a troll. Okay, I don't know who Brian Levin is, but he's going to talk to us about hate crime regulations. I wish that I'd fucking... Okay. He was testifying in front of a Senate panel. I thought this was going to be some sort of fucking PragerU video or some shit. So Brian Levin goes on a rant about the rise in violent extremism on social media and inadequate regulation. I see why I fucking chose this now. Like, he is a senior staff program manager at GE Digital. That would make sense that he is talking about misinformation on the internet.
Is social media really more of an accelerant and a vector?
Now, this is Senator John Ossoff.
And given that we've seen these dynamics emerge simultaneously in Europe and in North America.
Well, it's like Hitchens was pro-torture until he got waterboarded. Hitchens showed that, you know, he definitely adapt, you know, when new information became available, but, like, he had some shitty positions on things.
That, in which we can only flourish and coexist when we cohere.
Excellent question. Thank you so much, Senator. First, I do not believe that we need a new broadly applicable domestic terrorism law. Just want to go on the record with that.
Good.
We can improve certain things, and I'm going to tie it to your question. For instance, 18 U.S. Code 231 et sequence punishes only trainers in violent skills to foment a civil disorder, but not trainees. In your home state, Atlanta counted 1 hate crime in 2019, and the head of the Klan in Maryland and Delaware just started a militia in your state, and he's taken photographs of people running for office. And what we have seen...
Spilling the tea!
A broad reservoir of grievance. And what social media does, I think it's a combination of cause and accelerant. Let me tell you what...
And it's so wild because, like, you know, the whole phrase, history, if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it. Like, that's exactly what's happening all over fucking again. You read the history of Germany and the Weimar Republic. It was so vibrant and progressive, and it was just literally assholes like the maggots just trying to tear down anything that had to do with education or progress or progressivism. They make the same exact arguments. The same exact arguments. Instead of calling it Bolshevikism now, they call it fucking Marxism. Social Marxism.
Pew has found we are the most polarized we've been in decades, and now we're seeing other surveys showing we're even fragmented within that polarization.
Yes.
And what happens, what social media allows, is these subcultures. So you have this big grievance.
Not allows, encourages it, causes it to flourish, monetizes it. Because social media it's strive to be able to take advantage of outrage clicks, hate clicks. So one of the reasons why I market myself so hard towards right-wingers. If I can get right-wingers to get pissed off and watch me and try to troll me, it will bump me up in the algorithm, and then I will naturally be put in front of the lefties that want to see my content. Facebook, YouTube, they encourage it.
Whatever it is. And it ends up going to the lowest common denominator. So, for instance, people who are in favor of gun rights, nothing wrong with that. But what is created is a category of villains who are demonized within a subculture, and then you have that cascade down to people who not only believe I have a right to own a firearm if I'm a law-abiding citizen, to one that says the insurrectionist doctrine of the Second Amendment, which even Scalia in Heller said is not good, which says that I have the right to armed rebellion with those weapons. And what happens is you see these bubbles that start off, and it might be a person in a community or a county or a region, and he'd get no support, or she would get no support. But online, these big social media platforms allow it, and then it cascades down. And we need to have some serious recognition about the role of social media, and I think at the very least, I think we all can agree upon.
Well, it's not like, okay, it's not inherently social media. It's the capitalist incentive in social media. Just like capitalism with fucking TV, CNN, Fox News. They have an incentive for their disinformation because of the people that are buying sponsorships on their shows. The type of content that Facebook, YouTube, Twitch rewards. Well, I don't know so much about Twitch. The lefties do seem to kind of, be the top on Twitch, whereas the right-wingers are not as prevalent.
Put up certain requirements for themselves. I think they need to report on it annually as our Bill 5...
Sure can get some Nazis in the chat, though.
How are they doing? Another thing, transparency. Facebook just this week said, cut off NYU from doing research. You know what?
Talked about that last night.
Information superhighway that was created by our tax dollars, you better make sure that you're applying the rules of the road. So I think it's both a cause and an accelerant, particularly because, one last point, the declining trust
I want, like, we were talking about blockchain earlier. I want some decentralized form of a social media. The problem with that is that it's not going to matter to me. One, it's going to be better for me as a content creator if we are in a level playing field on social media. But that's not lucrative. It would be better for me because I have talent and I can naturally rise up. Right now on Facebook, YouTube, and believe me, the right-wingers love to talk about how I get 7 views on a video, which is weird to talk about a channel that has 5 million views, 6,000 subscribers. I even went and changed on YouTube to where, like, all my most viewed videos are the first row of videos. Because I keep getting right-wingers that are like, you got 7 views. Oh, on the video I posted yesterday, which is a clip from the live show? Like, what? Why, like... It's big tech censorship, dude. You should be upset about it. Share my shit out. Come on. But it's very lucrative for Facebook. The amount of money Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, Young Americans for Liberty, all those different right-wing organizations, PragerU, the amount of money that they spend on advertising and boosting their posts. It's sickening. I am competing with them without the fucking money. And Facebook bans me half the fucking time. I am amazed I haven't been put back in Facebook jail today of all the fuckery I've been doing. Or this one. The dude and his wife looked exactly alike to me, so... Hold on, I had another one. I put a dude on a pony. It was so cute. Yeah, I photoshopped this dude on a pony. So that was what this show was supposed to be, me trolling people and photoshopping them into do. Because one of the things, I'm not actually good at coming up with, I have the skills for the Photoshop. If you tell me what to Photoshop, I can do it, but I have a hard time coming up with shit. Other people are wittier with me with that. I thought he looked cute. He blocked me immediately. I guess he didn't like it. Said I felt sorry for his potato children. It's going to be a wonder. It's going to be a wonder if I'm not fucking banned on Facebook when I get back on. Oh, shit. Because that's considered targeted harassment. That's just not. I am very creative in certain ways, but not in all. Everybody has their strong points. And like looking at pictures and coming up with ways, or like the kind of stuff that goes viral, I'm not good at. I'm not good at coming up. That's what my friend really wants me to get on TikTok, and I'm like, that's not my thing. Like, even my movies are, like, I always went over time that we were given in class for the movies because, like, I've got a story to tell. I'm more long-form content. I like to sit here and talk for hours. But, if somebody gives me an idea of how to Photoshop somebody, I will absolutely do it. That's to say, some clients get upset with me because I'll tell them I have the skills to make a logo for you. I am not good at coming up with logos. Do not ask me to do that. What you need to do is give me examples of other ideas that you like and let me make some kind of amalgamation or sketch out something that you've got in your head, and I have these skills to make it happen. I'm not good at coming up with it myself. I'm not good at visualizing logo. And the Friday Night Freak Show logo, everyone hated it. I loved it. I thought it looked good. Everybody hated it. Oh, I don't think I ever unveiled the new logo either. Oh, God, I don't know where I put it. Oh shit! I had at least a rough cut of logo for the Friday Night Freak Show. I could see that. But I know where my weaknesses are and where my strong points are, and there are people that are way better. And I'm not good with drawing. I can't draw anything out, but like I can, I call myself an animator because I can animate things other people give me. You give me like an illustrator character and I can make him talk and walk and blah, blah, blah. But I couldn't make that character myself from scratch. Even like drawing myself on Photoshop with circles, and just like, it's still going to look like shit. Whereas I see other people, especially like, I'm amazed at the people that like, you see these a lot on Facebook with they'll have blobs on the canvas and then they'll like flip them around. It makes a sunset and shit. And I'm like, how the fuck do you do that? I see people doing the shading on faces and stuff. I'm like, that's amazing. I can't do, and I even took a class. I can't remember what it was called, like visual concepts or something like that. It was like a very basic. It was in digital media department. Like I stayed an extra year in college because there was all kinds of classes. It was like this is like long ass menu of shit. Like everything sounds amazing to me, but I only get 20 something credits or something. And most of that's dictated for you. You don't get a lot of choices. So I stayed an extra year, took extra history classes, and took extra classes in the digital media department. Because I was in the broadcasting department. And for some reason, people in the digital media department, they like fucking metal. And that's, being in the digital media department that year is where I learned that there are like all these different subgenres of metal. Pirate metal and like Simpsons metal and fucking, I can't even describe it to you, of all the different types of metal there is. And for some reason, it was everybody in the digital media department was into that shit. Weirdos. But then again, like the guys in the broadcasting department with me were bronies. So, I didn't get it. Oh yeah, let's finish Brian Levin here. He was making some good points. I don't know how we got sidetracked like that.
Road. So I think it's both a cause and an accelerant, particularly because one last point. The declining trust in the communal institutions that hold us together. My son did a beautiful chart that's in the appendices about all that going down, and guess what? Congress is at the lowest.
Yep.
On that note, I yield.
And one of the reasons why Congress has such a low approval rating is because the GOP is great with messaging. And the GOP, being as shitty as they are, know they can't win unless they pay, like, everybody's corrupt, so you might as well vote for me because I tell it like it is, and I play to your racism and shit. Another way they deflect from hearing the arguments of the left. Jen Psaki, during a press conference today, was asked about Cori Bush's security detail. I'm going to assume this was a right-wing questioner, somebody from Fox News or OAN or Newsmax. It's going to be Ducey's kid, isn't it? Exactly. It is beneficial to the greedy class. Because if you don't trust in the institutions, you can't help us take over those institutions and use them for good. And it's so wild that the right wing has made helping people such a dirty word. Or such a dirty concept. Like, oh yeah, Mao tried to feed people. Look what happened. It's insane. So the alternative is, just let rich people make all the decisions. What? Doesn't make any sense to me. All right, I'm sure a right-wing reporter asked this question about Cori Bush's security details, and is it hypocrisy for her also to call for defunding the police?
Thank you, Jen. Democrats
OAN may not be in the White House anymore.
favors spending
I would hope they're not.
private security to keep
This is probably Ducey.
and that people should quote,
It sounds like Ducey.
defunding.
So it's Fox News. That
Didn't President Biden say a few weeks ago
Biden has probably kicked out Newsmax and OAN.
is lying?
Well, I think we shouldn't lose the forest through the trees here, which is that a member of Congress, an elected official, is concerned that her life is threatened, and that's disturbing.
Because of the rhetoric of the right wing.
For death threats and fear for their life. So I'm not going to comment, of course, on their security arrangements. I don't have any more details on that, but I think we should start with that point first.
And it is so amazing to me of how hypocritical they are. Every single right-winger threatens me. They get to the point of threatening me. And they call the left violent and say that the left is fascist and want to force people into their political will. But every single time they get frustrated with me making fun of them on the internet and they threaten me. 3 or 4 or 5 of them have threatened me today.
I will say that the president has been crystal clear that he opposes defunding the police. He has said that throughout his campaign for office. His record over the last...
The Democrats put forward a bill that gave more funding to the police, and several Republicans voted against it and then said, oh, we're not for defunding the police.
Who was, as you might note or be aware of, a Republican. So I'd note that his record is pretty clear on this. There may be some in the Democratic Party, including Congresswoman Bush, who disagree with him. That's okay. But I would say the majority of Democrats, we've seen this in polling, and the
He's
majority of
correct.
members,
He's
also,
correct.
Agree that we should not defund the police.
Is there a greater concern, though? I understand that's not the president's position.
And notice the centrists attacking the messaging of defund the police. Oh, that's not a good argument. Oh, that's not a good argument. I wonder why they want to attack it. It's using a Republican tactic, breaking something down into a very easy to digest, bumper sticker statement. Defund the police. That's what Republicans do with everything. So that's what they're trying to get across. But like the centrists are all like, "Whoa, that's such bad messaging."
But is there a concern that defunding the police or suck it up, defunding the police has to happen might become a big Democratic message ahead of the midterms?
It does not appear to becoming a Democratic message, even though there might be a desire for that on the other side of the aisle.
Yes, they definitely want to run against defunding the police, which they did last time. And we can see it in Senator Tim Scott's bloviating on the Senate floor today.
Senator Scott is recognized from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding this very important hearing. I will say that my colleagues to the left...
Big ups to Sherrod Brown.
A number of opportunities to ask questions of nominees before this committee that had nothing to do with the issues of this committee so many times that I can't even remember the number of times I've had to sit through banking hearing hour after hour listening to folks go on about things that have nothing to do with this committee. I would say that the comments that have been made by these noms, or at least a couple of them tweeting about the police, have everything to do with housing. The fact of the matter is housing is incredibly important, but safety in the place where you live.
Oh yeah, you need the cops to evict people.
Folks talking about
and that the eviction moratorium is going to be up in October.
The housing issue and the desire for home ownership and for a good, safe place to live, issue number one. I can't imagine something more important than safety in the place where you live. And having lived in some of the poorest parts of South Carolina...
Sir, how many videos have we played on this show of the cops just busting into people's houses? Breonna Taylor didn't have safety where she lived, sir.
I can tell you firsthand that the one thing...
So the matter of defunding the police is a matter of safety where I live.
Asking for defunding the police. Not a single person. Not one. I'll say this. That you look at the most recent polls and surveys done, more than 80%
I'm not high enough for this shit.
81% has said very clearly they want the same level of policing or more policing, and that is consistent throughout every demographic in this country.
Then I think I have failed as a messenger, because if the people knew what the police have been up to, they would not be in favor of more policing. They would be for abolishing the police. And that's why the first video I'm going to do in my little educational video series is going to be my little thing I do about the cops. If you've never seen me do it, it's awesome. Like, I've done it on Threads many times. I have all the citations that prove it is, like, beyond a shadow of a doubt, a completely corrupt institution that is irreparable, that needs to be completely abolished. And I show through multiple instances what happens to the so-called good cops that try to report corruption. Adrian Schoolcraft, Christopher Dorner, I'm sorry. I think I'm going to put a t-shirt up on the Freak Store, the Chris Dorner Appreciation Society.
Issue that impacts real people in real places that feel insecure and unsure about where they live, and they want the same dignity and respect where they live. And so for us to take this as a simple political issue is frankly inconsistent with the reality faced by so many people who simply want to come home to a safe place. And while it's really easy to have a conversation not living in those communities about people in those communities, I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong, and not only do I think it's wrong,
I think it's really cool when I blow the smoke at the camera, and
those folks,
but also, like, I probably shouldn't be blowing it at my electronics.
Find a way to refund the police. You think about
But hey, when I got my first job in radio, I could still smoke and sit behind the board.
And homicides.
And I did.
You think about the fact that they are now saying, wait a second, cutting the police may have been a really bad idea.
No, it wasn't.
400 officers in a shortage. They have 392 people.
There have been very, very few places that have actually cut police budgets by anything. Where they have cut it, it's been fucking marginal, like 2, 3, 5%. And the rise in homicides is across the country, including in places that not only didn't cut police budgets, but increased police budgets.
Positions to be filled. More than a dozen detectives.
Those tape machines still fucking worked.
What's happening in Baltimore?
I am Tones, you'll appreciate this. I am so lucky that I got my first job in radio when it was the year 2000. In the year 2000. My mentor, the guy that taught me everything I know about broadcasting, was like old school 70s jock. He was the voice of Eastern Kentucky. And like, they had just transferred over everything to the digital system, like within the last year or two before I started working there. And him being old school, man, he made me fucking cut tape and splice reel. He made me drop carts. Like just for the fucking hell of it, I think. He had me convert like this fucking box of carts he had to dump them into the system. It was just fucking training me so I'd be good at everything. We still had turntables in the studio. Oh my God, when I was in college, like in 2012, I worked at a roller rink. And the dude that owned the roller rink was scared to fucking death of technology. So I'm up there, I've got my laptop. I'm fucking DJing off of a laptop. I go out and take a smoke break. I came back in one time. He has like unplugged my laptop and he's got like his turntables out and is spinning like a Chicago record. It's like I left and like Jesse J was playing or fucking... Like it was wild. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why did you unplug my fucking laptop from the board? What?" Saturday. That's a fantastic jam. I fucking love that song. But I mean, like I was at a roller rink. The average age was like 11, and this was 2012. I'm trying to, like, it was Call Me Maybe, and I can't even remember all the fucking songs I was playing at that time. Yeah, a tape machine with a remote control? Shit. We had a really cool console. Like, when I was, they've got like a dual monitor setup, and then the big board. But like the tape machine was here up on the, because they had like multiple levels. So the tape machine was here. The two turntables were over here to my left, and the ashtray was right here to my right. And but it's like I had 1 foot in the digital and 1 foot in the analog my entire life, and it's actually been very useful to me. I think they were beyond the Gaga at that time. Like, it wasn't like we weren't even playing Lady Gaga. Like, Lady Gaga was in a lull in her career. Like, that's when she was doing like art pop and stuff. She wasn't all that popular. No, it was really, really poppy shit. Call Me Maybe was the big one I remember. I had to play that like 3 times a fucking shift. Now, I was only at the roller rink for a week or two. I quit and went to work at the strip club. Now, there's night and fucking day there. The big song at the strip club. Chris Brown was really big. All of them always wanted to hear Chris Brown at the strip club. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. But I mean, pot is not good for electronics. Now, I love me some Gaga. I've seen Gaga live. If I've never told the story, I'm sitting there listening to Gaga. She's doing A Million Reasons. She's at the piano, the fucking clear piano with all the lights in it and stuff. And, like, the girls behind me would not shut the fuck up. Yeah, my CPU fan like the dust. It's really fucking dusty in here. And hair. I get a lot of cat hair. Oh my god, you should have seen me clean the cat hair out of my keyboard. Yeah, buddy, we get a lot of use out of the compressed air, don't we? Well, like, these two, like, school-age kids will not shut up behind me. I'm like, the fucking, one of the best singers in the world is singing her heart out right in front of us. Playing a clear, light-up piano is one of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen. Because I don't like slow music. But, like, Million Reasons is not, like, one of my favorite songs. But fucking Lady Gaga is singing fucking A Million Reasons in front of me. I'm going to be like... '80s, baby. When I was like 4 or 5 years old, my favorite song was Eddie Money's Take Me Home Tonight. Now, I'm still a big Eddie Money. I listened to Eddie Money last night. I was listening to 2 Tickets to Paradise. No, Baby Hold On to Me. That's what I was listening to last night. I wanted to say Shakin', but that's the King of Queens joke, right? Because they keep making him play Shakin'. I don't like King of Queens. I've only seen that episode like once. But like they take Eddie Money hostage and make him keep playing Shakin', right? Having her fingers. I have never gotten to see Eddie Money live, and I really want to. He was at a fair right down the road from me, and I would be so fucking sad to go see his. He was very coked out through the 80s. I'm assuming like he doesn't even have a nose left anymore. He probably can't sing worth a shit. But I wanted to go see Eddie Money because I fucking love me some Eddie Money. So the 80s is weird for me. I don't like 80. When people say 80s and you think of like the songs VH1 played for the 80s, like I hate that shit. But in terms of like 80s music, I love Gary Newman. Gary Newman is one of my favorite artists of all time. I love David Byrne, Talking Heads. Devo, fucking Devo. Give me Devo any fucking day. I love Duran Duran. You guys got me talking about music. I'm a fucking hardcore music lover. In case you didn't, and like, I listen to some weird fucking shit. I like fucking New Bjork. You guys ever heard of The Knife? I fucking love The Knife. They're weird as fuck. Also, I like a lot of like pop music. I love Ace of Base. Who else know me? I don't think I know them. I will listen on your... You guys could totally... If you want to give me music recommendations, please do. Oh, this dude looks familiar. I'm gonna have to read up on that. Thank you, Tones. Well, once again, it's like I had this love-hate relationship. Like, if you were to play like the 90s playlist on Spotify, I'd probably like punch the fucking screen. But also, you gotta remember, I was on the radio from 2000 until 2008. After that, it was like college radio and internet radio and shit. But like from 2000 to 2008, it's like I worked for a conglomeration that had 2 country stations. We had a classic country station. We had a top 40 station. We had like a adult contemporary station. We had an oldies station. So like if there is like radio songs, like the songs that the radio plays all the time, like I've got PTSD from it. But I love like fucking Filter and Tonic and 9 Inch Nails. 9 Inch Nails is one of the coolest shows I've been to. Oh shit, we got a call. Caller, you're on the Troll Patrol. What's going on? Oh shit, maybe they thought I wouldn't answer. Aw. Like, I like a lot of music from the 90s. But like the big 90s hits. What was the Ricky Martin song they played all the fucking time? Like, Ricky Martin's got some jams. I can listen to Cup of Life all day, but like there was that one song they played out all the time. Fucking Santana's Smooth. If I hear that again, I'll like I could choke somebody. Savage Garden isn't a bad band, but that one song that got played on the radio, all the goddamn Livin' La Vida Loca, yes. Fuck that song. Fuck the Macarena. Fuck the Mambo No. 5. Fuck all. I cannot listen to any of that shit. What was that Seal song they played all the time? Kiss from a Rose in the Grave. I can't listen to that shit. I was in the car with Sparkles the other day, and I was getting ready to like jump onto her because I thought it was Gangsta's Paradise, but it turned out it was Weird Al. I'm like, okay, totally cool with Weird Al. We can do that. Crazy is a great song, but I like the Mushroom Head cover of it. Seal's got to, though, once again, it's not about Seal. It's not that I hate Seal. I like Seal's song. He's got that cover of Steve Miller Band. What's the name of that fucking song? Fly Like an Eagle, right? Wu-Tang ain't nothing to fucking... Oh, fucking Sparkles is all about you now. Sparkles loves her some Wu-Tang. Fuck you, Tim Scott. We don't want to hear what you have to say. We want to talk about music. It's Thursday, so it's my Friday now, so it's more the laid-back show. Dang, ain't nothing to fuck with. Yeah, I think that's Seal. Did Lenny Kravitz do some kind of a cover? I fucking Fly Away. I can't hear that fucking song. Not that there's not fuck, and like his version of American Woman. Oh my God, shoot me in the head. I cannot listen to that again. Just there was like, I watched a lot of MTV and VH1 and shit. Like I loved, especially like there was a time period where VH1 was the coolest fucking channel. When they were like music education, and they had the pop-up video and behind the music, and they played videos all day long. If they weren't doing videos, it was like fucking Crossroads, and they were doing acoustic fucking sets and shit. Like VH1 was awesome between like 1994 and 97. Well, hey, like, speaking of the 90s songs, I brought it up last night. Like, I always thought I was a UB40 fan. But no. All the songs that I thought were by UB40 are actually by Inner Circle, and I'm an Inner Circle fan. I saw several memes about it. What is ridiculousness? Speaking of that meme. Like, apparently, like, it was all day ridiculousness. I don't know what ridiculousness is. I saw like a fucking thing of the schedule for MTV. And it was like ridiculousness all day, every day. What the hell is that? I've never even heard of it. Am I that out of touch? Like I thought they were still playing 16 and Pregnant and shit. Teen Mom. Oh, is it kind of like is it like a Tosh.0 ripoff? Like it's internet clips and shit. Ridiculousness has been on for 20 years and I don't know about it? Once again, I haven't had fucking TV in 20 years. Is he? Or are you making a joke about like Ludacris or something? I could be off on that. I appreciate the music discussion. West Coast. I was definitely West Coast. I don't like Puff Daddy. I didn't like Biggie. I was on the Tupac Dre side by far. What about you guys? West Coast repping in my chat. I like some Mace though. I like not. I like weird. You want to hear about some of the weird shit I like? I fucking love Tattoo. Fuck yeah, West Coast. How can Tupac, fucking Dre, Snoop? I fucking love NWA. Why didn't I thought you might have been making a joke, which it would have been funny. I was DJing a lot when Ludacris was big, so like fucking Ludacris is one of those things that give me PTSD. Fucking Nas is amazing. In terms of modern rappers though, I love J. Cole. I love Kendrick Lamar. Run the Jewels. Fuck yeah, Run the Jewels. Killer Mike. And like fucking like I got turned on to Killer Mike like 20 years ago. He was like musical guest on Chappelle's show. Killer Mike's awesome. But I'm a big prog rock fan. I love Dream Theater and Rush. Big Train, or Big Train. Right winger got upset because I sent him a picture of a dick. I told him it was my dick, but it wasn't. The dick of somebody. It was a dick pic somebody had sent me. I've never gotten to do that, actually. That's one of the things I would like to mark off my fuck it list. Yes, I have a whole list of things that I would like to do sexually. I call it my fuck it list. Yeah, I just pulled some material on you. I've been itching to do stand-up, but I do not want to go outside in this fucking shit right now. I'm sure I could go do an open mic somewhere, but I no. I was going to do a stand-up set on the 420 special. Yeah, it was the 420 special. We had Derek Chauvin. We got the verdict for that. We did that live. Because I was getting drunk, I don't ever do stand up unless I'm not completely sober. Have to smoke like 30, 45 minutes beforehand. Come down a little bit. I wish whoever called me would call back because they actually called before we came on the air, so I'm assuming it's one of the right wingers that I tried to get to call in. They didn't think I was actually going to answer. I don't know if I could call it a whole list because I mean it's not like there's any holes that I haven't been in. Like now we're at the point where like I need to mark things off where it's me putting things in holes and people putting things in my holes at the same time, and it's like fucking 5 or 6 people. That's the kind of shit that I need now. That's the only thing left on my bucket list. My fuck it list. Now you can get, like, do they still sell that K2 stuff? I know that's not what you're talking about. There was like a fucking, that synthetic pot was called K2. It made me forget how doorknobs work one time. Like, I'm never doing this shit again. See, that sounds vanilla to me. I don't do vanilla anymore. That's what, if you guys missed it the other night, where Sparkles was like, Sparkles always tells me about her dates because she tries to like get an emotional bond with people, and I'm like, well, I don't know why you do that. She's like, I can't have casual sex. Yeah, I do not recommend the synthetic pots. But I mean, like, this was back in like 2010 or something. I'm sure we would. There's an Incubus song called Are You In? About an orgy. Like my anthem. I'm also really partial to the Living Color song Bye. Speaking of Living Color, they are trolling hard on wrestling fans, so I think it's imminent that CM Punk is coming in. And apparently, some idiot that wrote for a wrestling magazine said that CM Punk was going to be coming out to the theme from Living Color, the TV show, as opposed to, the song Cult of Personality by Living Color. Yeah. Fuck all that. But like, this is right when when it first hit, and like I had just moved to the town where I went to college. I didn't know anybody yet, so I didn't have any pot connections. This was like the first part of my freshman year, as opposed to my junior year when people just came over to my fucking apartment and did drugs. Yeah, I forgot how doorknobs work. I got really bummed. I was sitting there playing video games. I'm like, why am I doing this? It's such a waste of time. Video games. What do they mean? Why would I be in a virtual world? I should read a book. Which wasn't wrong, but what the fuck? I read. I got like really upset with myself about the fact that I was playing video games and not doing something productive. What the fuck? It is productive to take your mind off of all the shit you do. I was to sit here in this chair behind my computer all day, I'd go fucking mad. Get over there and play some fucking video games. Let some steam. Other people like to work out. I just like, I'm going to stick with, the like, first of all, I don't really do the hard drugs anymore. I hooked up with a dude the other night. He fucking had some coke, and I'm like, wow, you really are a Gen Xer. You've got coke. Offered me some, and I said no. I'm like, I bounce off the walls with energy anyway. Also, my dick don't work on it anymore. That's probably TMI, but I like some DMT. I like some mushrooms. I like some pot. That's pretty much it. Oh, also, I like opiates an awful lot, but I don't buy those anymore. Now, if somebody gives me a couple, I'll totally do them, but I don't buy those anymore. I don't know. He might have wanted me to get freaky, but you didn't have to get me coked up to get me freaky. I get really weird when I'm on the hard drugs. I went home from college one time, and I'm at my parents' house, and my dad wakes me up at 7:30 in the fucking morning. Like, hey, come on out with me. Well, I know he's got drugs if he's telling me to come on out with him. It's Thanksgiving morning. He takes me up the head of some fucking holler somewhere. I go to this dude's trailer. I've never met this dude before. And I don't think he was expecting my dad, but he gets there we go in his house, and he just starts fucking lining out coke. It's 8 something in the morning. I'm drinking my coffee. And I'm like, well, it's kind of a little early for coke, isn't it? Hell, I had fucking still got sleep in my eyes and shit. What's my dad? It's sad that we have to fucking force corporations to do the right thing. And I'm really discouraged that we have gotten into this, what they call the wokeism. What they're calling wokeism is really, using our consumer power to bend the will of corporations. I disagree, Tones. I disagree wholeheartedly. I was up until 9 o'clock this morning. 9 a.m. I have not been up that long today. I probably didn't. I had to finish my coffee just 3 hours ago or something. An hour before the show started. So I was up until 9 o'clock this morning. I made coffee at 8 o'clock. Knowing I was getting ready to go to bed. Fucking coffee doesn't faze me. Well, no, I wasn't doing coke all the time at that time. At no point in time was I ever on the uppers really bad. The uppers were always we would get uppers, me and my girlfriend, 2007, 2008, and then we were both photographers, and we would end up with like a week off or something before we had to go like to our next shoot. And we would get a baggie of meth, and we would spend 2 or 3 days fucking. And then you got a couple days to, you know, get yourself right again. Just 2 or 3 days straight. Fuck, like, I can understand how people get addicted to meth. You've ever had sex on this shit, you understand it. Or MDMA. Oh, wow. I had some wild-ass Molly one time. Well, it was fun. You can't do that shit all the time. Also, that was when I was with the girlfriend I affectionately refer to as the crackhead. She definitely had a crack problem. Now, crack is not something I enjoyed at all. And I really didn't like it when she would smoke the crack. But also, I kind of did because, like, she'd just spend the night in the bathroom. Like, she'd have another girl or some dude over. They'd be in the bathroom all night smoking crack. I'd just be laying on the couch playing video games. One of her guy friends would come over. Like, his name was Shay. He was pretty cool. He would come out and, like, he'd roll a blunt or something and, like, be like, hey, let's smoke this. We'd smoke the blunt. He'd like play a couple rounds of a video game with me if I was playing something, you know, he could pick up, wrestling or fighting game or something. I mean, first of all, you gotta, on the Entourage movie, they came up with the greatest idea, which was Molly Viagra water. And I'm like, okay, if I do it again, Molly Viagra water, that's the way to go. Or B, a lot of times you're the only person that that's on YouTube that I can be like, hey, ban that person. And I have people trying to take me down. The only thing I want you to worry about is if somebody posts quotes about like coronavirus shit. That's what they've been getting me for, is they're posting like quotes of medical misinformation and then they're reporting me for it. So if you see that, that's all I need you to do. Get rid of that. Everything else I'm fine with. You know, I don't personally like transphobia or racism, anti-Semitism or anything, but I think like if people come in and they do that, I think that is an indictment of them, and I think I deserve to make fun of them. I'll leave it up to the chat. If you guys want to take out the trash, I'm totally cool with it, but like I'm gonna ream them first. So I'm glad it's like with the restream. If you guys ban them, I'm not gonna like. If I was on Twitch, I wouldn't see what I mean, I would because it's my channel. Like, I'll still see the message because it's on Restream. No. You don't want to know what's on my fucking list. I marked something off the other day, which made Sparkle say she's only a cum enthusiast. Justin is a cum slut. I can't. Oh, that sounds like fun. I'd totally let you guys use your channel points to time people out. That's fun. Once again, like I'm not on the Twitch right now. Do you really want me to get into that? I mean, I am an open person, so like I would tell you, because like I've told people what. Hell, my best friend. Oh my god, like he's just unfazed by my like Like, he's a family man. He's got kids and everything. But, like, we've been best friends for 20 fucking years. And, like, he's just unfazed by what I do. And he's, you know, he's also fucked up as well. He wouldn't be friends with me. But he's just unfazed by the shit that I tell him. I don't really have a measurement on how much went in. God damn it. Oh, shit. Fuck yeah, show me some great people. I'm very happy with the other Twitch people I've made friends with. Sonsol and Dan Simpson, super fucking cool. Feminist Critique. I love my girls over there. Poly people. Riverboat Jack. Oh my god. Riverboat Jack is my wafu. And yet, for those of you who are unaware, like, I'm not gay. I'm also not straight. What I have is a sexual abnormality so strange that it must be kept from the public at all costs. I don't know James from the internet. I'll check him out. If you've ever seen the Simpsons episode where Selma marries Troy McClure, like Selma gets accused of being a beard. I'm trying to do a balancing act of, like, you know, yeah, love Proudly Radical, Unelected Airwaves, fucking, like, I could go on and on. Some people would consider it an abnormality. Some people would consider it an abnormality. A ladle? How did the ladle get in here? I don't understand. Also, Curiouser is going to hate me saying this. But next time she's in here, you need to tell her to let me invite other people over. She's shy because she dreams about it. She got the fantasies about it. But she always gets chicken. Because a lot of the things on my fuck it list require, like, men and women. That is the weirdest recipe for hooch I've ever read. Also, like, I made such a good joke the other when we did the Governor Jim Justice. I can't remember who said it. It was Tones or Mergen. Somebody in the chat was like, "Get a bucket for Governor Justice." I'm like, "Yes, get a bucket for Governor Justice," because he wanted to pee or throw up. Pee and throw up. Like, or get 2 girls in 1 cup if you need to. I'm not into that kind of shit, but I'm aware enough of it to make jokes about it. Oh. I've got a trans girl that I follow on OnlyFans, and she said she was single. Like, last night I posted she was single, and I'm like, oh my god. You know, you could really use a good photographer, videographer for your stuff. I would love to partner up with you. And a ladle. If you are listening to this on the podcast right now, you're wondering what the fuck is going on. This is chat time. I did put myself in the just chatting category of Twitch. This is also, if you're listening to the podcast of this, because I have a couple of loyal listeners to the podcast, which I didn't think was going to happen. There are like 2 people that listen to this every day. Thank you to whoever you are that listens to this every fucking day. You're probably wondering, because I've even started putting in like, hey, we covered this, you skipped to this part. Because I've got 2 people that listen every day. I don't know how to get on iTunes, though. Fucking Apple hates me. It won't put me on there. Oh, we were talking about music earlier. I'm wearing my Queen Irvy shirt. Motherfuckers ain't listening to Queen, and it really shows. Baptize bitches with their holy flows. God damn it, go listen to Queen Irvy. Maybe one of my favorite artists of all time now. I really wish whoever called in would call back. They really wanted to talk to me. All right, so Senator Tim Scott was talking about being safe in your... Oh. I can't recommend somebody and not give you the... There you go. Tim Scott was talking about being safe in your home. We have a Vandy professor that's going to tell us about gun violence following the Smile Direct Club shooting. This is the mass shooting that happened outside of Nashville the other day. A 6 a.m. workplace shooting. Family of the man police said was the shooter at a Smile Direct Club facility believes mental health may have been a factor. We're going to talk about this. We're going to hear from this Vanderbilt professor.
Our team coverage continues tonight as the family of the man who police say was the shooter believes mental health may have been a factor. News
I just said that.
Live in Antioch tonight. Cameron Antonio King's family put out a very...
I hate it when they blame mental health, though. There's plenty of people with mental health issues that don't go shoot up the place.
About their loved one and for those who were hurt in today's shooting. Now tonight I spoke with a professor who studies gun violence and mental health to get his...
I'm sure mental health played some sort of factor. I think it's more about this sick society that we live in.
At Smile Direct Club's manufacturing...
Yeah, sorry. Content warning. I did not know they were going to show the footage of the actual shooting.
Facility heard in Antioch. Metro Police say 22-year-old Antonio King is the one who fired the shots.
A 6 a.m. workplace shooting probably signals some kind of tension at the job or coworkers or something like that.
Jonathan Metzel is a professor at Vanderbilt University. He studies gun violence and mental health.
You know, again, mental illness is a factor in many...
Speaking of 90s music, he kind of looks like Michael Stipe.
The mass shooting. I think that's really the take-home point.
Police say King fired more than 20 shots.
He's not talking about shiny, happy people right now.
Through the doors of the building.
There is a security officer shot.
Okay, we're getting help out there, but please...
Or like somebody in the corner.
Keep me on the line, and if you can, keep yourself...
Now in the spotlight.
Okay.
2 security guards and a manager were hurt. Investigators believe King was also hurt by their gunfire. Officers caught up with King as he walked on Antioch Pike.
He's got a gun in his hand.
What's the frequency, King?
Drop the weapon! Drop the weapon! Drop it now!
Police say officers like Dylan Ramos repeatedly told King to drop his gun. After police say King refused, 2 officers fired their weapons during a confrontation. He died at the hospital. In a statement, King's family wrote, "The reality of his mental illness has taken us by surprise. Unfortunately,
I hate that that's a scapegoat.
Were not evident to those of us who were with him daily."
I hear shock and surprise, right? I mean, a lot of times mass shootings result not because of mental illness, but because of anything else in the world.
Professor Metzel says that could include workplace stress. he believes King's relatives are struggling to understand.
The most important thing we can do as a society is to identify people who might be at high risk.
Fuck yeah, Queen Irby.
Before events like this happen.
And police say King was a day shift employee here at Smile Direct Club. They say he'd only worked here for a short amount of time. And we have his family's full statement on the News 4 app. Marius?
Our team coverage.
It seems they've moved on from blaming video games. That's not a common refrain anymore. I mean, some idiotic right-wingers pull it out. Keeping on the topic of gun violence, wild picture coming to us out of San Francisco where a woman is seen leaning out of a car holding an AK.
That they say was used in a sideshow, and they released this photo of the vehicle. You can see there a woman leaning out of the car carrying an AK-47. This happened last month on Barnveld and McKinnon Avenues. Police had the car towed after they investigated. We don't know if any arrests were made. It's 5:40, and we'll be
Why don't you know that? Did they blame D&D? Was that part of the Satanic Panic? I never played D&D, so I don't know. I dated a gal that was into Magic. I had to play some of that one time. I mean, well, I play RPGs though on my video games. So like it's basically a card game RPG. It wasn't hard to pick up. The things you do for the ladies. I go to No Trouble for Men. It's easy to get to. Mexico just sued the U.S. gun industry for causing 17,000 killings a year. Yes, video games. Oh shit. Mexico sued leading gun manufacturers in Massachusetts federal court on Wednesday, alleging they are actively facilitating the unlawful trafficking of their guns to drug cartels and other criminals in Mexico. Lawsuit names, among others, Smith & Wesson, Beretta, Century Arms, Colt, Glock, and Ruger. The guns are the ones most often recovered in Mexico, according to the complaint from the Mexican government. It also lists Barrett. I say that right? Barrett? Beret? Barrett? Whose .50 caliber sniper rifle is a weapon of war prized by the drug cartels. Boston area wholesaler Interstate Arms, which sells the guns of all but one of the companies. And the Boston area wholesaler. I have never... I love some King of the Hill. And I watched all the Christmas episodes last year. I have never gone and watched the entire series from beginning to end the way I've done other shows. Hooray! Barrett? I don't fucking know. Said Ruger right though. Barrett. Man with the gun arm. I need to go back and watch King of the Hill. Beretta. That's correct. I knew I was missing something. Thank you guys. Chat is awesome. The legal action appears to be the first of its kind and comes after years of complaints by the Mexican government that the U.S. has failed to effectively address the trafficking of arms from the U.S. to Mexico. It did say Barrett. That's how it spelled it. The only thing is I love Mike Judge because I love Beavis and Butthead, Silicon Valley. If you've not watched Silicon Valley, holy shit, that is one of the best shows in the history of television. I have never seen a comedy that just like every episode was like a cliffhanger that just made you want more. I've never seen a comedy be able to accomplish that. Dario is great. I've not watched as much of it. His movies. Idiocracy and Office Space. Fucking Mike Judge is amazing. However, he's an Alex Jones supporter. Yeah, Silicon Valley. It's on HBO. Like, it just ended 2 years ago? 3 years ago, maybe? Excellent fucking show. Excellent show. I don't know. There is a promo of Mike Judge from like 2017 in Trump years. Like, say, I'll pull it up. Hold on. It freaked me the fuck out. I'm not seeing, like, it was just like a fucking, like a 30-second promo. I'm not seeing it, but apparently he was on Alex Jones in like 2015. Yeah, the Dilbert creator is a Trumper. Fucking back to music. I can't believe Axel Rotten. No, Johnny Rotten. Axel Rotten. Fucking me and my wrestling. Johnny fucking Rotten from the Sex Pistols. And I don't care for the Sex Pistols. I like Public Image Limited. Talking about 80s music again. That's my kind of 80s music. That fucking new wave shit. I love Public Image Limited. And that motherfucker is a crazy Trumper. Well, I'm not anti-gun. The left is not anti-gun. That's not an untenable position. I had a right-winger like, well, the left is anti-gun, and then I posted the Marx quote, like, you know, any attempt to exhaust the the proletariat from owning. I can't remember what the fucking quote is. Real People. I didn't know there was an animated one. It's a situation comedy on HBO, or dramedy, I guess you want to call it. It had what's his name was the biggest star, but then he had like his little Me Too moment, and they had to kick him off. And it's so fucking funny the way they wrote about the show. I wish we taught civics in school. No, not Aziz. The dude with the red hair, with like fucking bushy. What the fuck's his name? DJ Miller. That motherfucker. God damn it. Oh, fucking Jin Yang on Silicon Valley. Jin Yang is one of the greatest goddamn characters ever. Ever. You will love Jin Yang. Now, I said I'm not anti-gun. I'm also not pro-gun. I'm also going to tell anybody that, like, you are more than likely going to shoot yourself, someone you love, or have the gun used against you than you are to actually use it in self-defense. That is the truth. Now, a lot of people are going to point out you have to add suicide into that for that to be true. And that's a fact. I concede that. But suicide is less likely to succeed if you don't have a gun. Yeah, he was accused of like groping somebody, or he might have like been racist or something. I don't remember what he did, but there was something they had to get him off the show. Yes, real nerds like the Silicon Valley show. Big Bang was never funny to me. Andrew Cuomo better resign. He's not going to. He's going to be impeached. Apparently, it's going to go fast, too. So he might be out of office by the end of the month. That's possible. He should save us all the trouble. He should save the taxpayers of New York the trouble and fucking step down. I mean, I assumed it wasn't, but like, I don't find Friends funny. I don't find How I Met Your Mother funny. I think... But there are people that also, like, that don't find Seinfeld or Woody Allen funny. So, like, I understand that there's different kinds of comedy. Like, the woman that was over my broadcasting department, when I did my first movie, I thought, like, oh, I'm going to win her over. She will like me from this moment on. And we played the movie, and, like, afterwards, like, she's just, like, blank face. I'm like, you don't like Seinfeld, do you? She's like, no, I don't find it funny. I'm like, because, like, the movie was, because, like, she looked at me and she's like, well, that was original. And it was like, it wasn't really original. It was very Seinfeld-esque. It was very Larry David. Fucking Judge Napolitano just had to fucking resign from Fox. They have a rampant culture of sexual assault. You're like, RB, I agree with you. Especially me being here in the South. I see the effects of lost cause propaganda. People literally, like the majority of the people around me will refer to it as the war of northern aggression. They will tell you it's about states' rights. That's all propaganda. And it permeates everything. And, like, that's one of the reasons why, like, the whole debate about the 1619 Project, CRT, the right does not want us to openly discuss how baked into our system racism is. And not only do I want to discuss how baked into our system racism is, I want to talk about how baked into the system classism is. We have this weird caste system that exists in this country based upon your fucking income level. I didn't know Shep Smith was gay. I had no clue about that. Chris Wallace, Chris Wallace seems like he is an actual conservative that I could sit down and have a conversation with. And I don't think there's many of them. I think most of the reasonable people have left and went to the Democratic Party. Like, there's just a conservative wing to the Democratic Party, and if you're still in the Republican Party, you're just fucking nuts. Or rich. You can justify it if you're rich. Doing things in your own financial best interest. You're exactly right, RB, and that's the problem. We are never going to admit or atone for it. And like, I don't talk about it that much. Maybe I should, but like when we were watching the Vosh thing the other day with Vosh and Tim Pool and Charlie Kirk, and they were talking about reparations, I felt yucky. I'm for it. I'm for reparations. I agree with Vosh on the critique that the structural The structural barriers need to change, or otherwise you're just going to suck that money right back out of the community. But you should also give them cash because they've been deprived of cash. Generational wealth is like the number one indicator of success in this country. Go fuck yourself. But maybe I should be talking about reparations more, because maybe it is up to me to use my privilege and assert it, because it isn't a needed policy. I defend it whenever it's brought up, but I don't feel like it's my place to talk about. UBI is needed, period. But just to give everybody money is to ignore the structural imbalance. You also need to make reparations to that community, multiple communities, the Native community. Although I guess my thing, it's not so much about me discussing it. It's like listening to Charlie Kirk talk about it just really pissed me off. And I don't have the patience to talk to conservatives about it. Like I don't feel like I'm the one to try to win them over. I like the proposal to give control of the national parks to the natives. So You Enjoy Yourself is actually quoting Jack Nicholson's The Joker from the first Batman movie. It's not free money. Do you know who got free money? Do you know who got fucking free money? The slavers that actually received reparations. Do you know who gets free money all the goddamn time? All the fucking corporations out here that are fucking raping our planet and holding us under their thumbs. They get free money all the goddamn day. But right-wingers never have a fucking problem with that. You want to throw money at corporations. You want to throw money at rich people all the goddamn time. I have a problem with that. Adam! Indigenous tribes are owed land, cash, and lots of both. No, you are not a centrist. Right-wingers never fucking know how far right they are. And you say shit like you're a centrist. One, because you're probably stupid and you actually believe it. I believe that a lot of the dumb fuck right-wingers actually do believe that they're centrists. This is the political compass. We can compare it to the 2020 presidential candidates. You enjoy myself, I put you over in here. You're over in here. You're not a centrist. You're here, you dumb fuck. Yeah, it's not free money. That's a straw man to begin with. It is allocation of resources. It is using our tax dollar for monetary policy. I talked about it earlier. Everything is a system of redistribution. Right-wingers try to make that sound like it's scary. But a job is a system of redistribution. The tax system is a system of redistribution. And right now we have a system that is set to just drain the money from fucking poor people. And shower money on private industry. Corporate interests have tunneled their way so deep into our political system that they permeate both parties, the Republican Party wholeheartedly, and the majority of the Democratic Party. I beg you. Look, if you are in my chat right now, it's not a good chance you're in a high tax bracket. So I beg you, Look at the shit that you're saying and look who it benefits. Does it help the status quo? Are you arguing in favor of the status quo? Give this man a bucket. He needs to pee and throw up. Or get him 2 girls in 1 cup. Maybe you're into that. It's not that I'm trying to convince him or like it's just using him as a jumping off point for me to be able to argue things that I want to yell about anyway. So it's not a big deal. All right, San Diego police killed a man. Has the lambda mutated? Yeah, I have not heard any updates. We are still in the early stages of knowing what the lambda variant is going to do. It has been detected in Texas so far. I don't know if we have any other positives anywhere else in the country. We're going to go over to San Diego. I'm going to have to hit the content warning for this.
Don't move! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Drop the gun! Get on the ground!
Now, they've just released this body camera footage. This is from July 23rd. They say the man is armed and that he reaches for his gun before they shoot him in the back. There are places in Texas that seem really fucking cool. And I thought about moving to Texas myself just because if I do move somewhere, I'm going somewhere that, you know, Arizona, Nevada, Texas. One, I don't like cold weather. And 2, I want to move to a state that's, you know, purple. And that my presence being there might help tip it blue. Absolutely. But yeah, fuck Ken Paxton. That motherfucker has been indicted for 5 years. How do Republicans get away with this bullshit? Motherfucker was indicted 5 years ago as the sitting attorney general. Back to the body camera footage from San Diego. Which is a beautiful city. I've been to San Diego. Wonderful, wonderful city. I loved it there.
Drop the gun! Get on the ground! Drop the gun! Drop the gun! Don't point it at me! Drop the gun! Drop the weapon! Drop the weapon! Drop the weapon! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Stop!
Because they got little dicks and they got to overcompensate.
Stop! Stop! Guys, get back! Slow it down! Slow it down!
Yes, yeah, every time someone describes socialism or communism, they just describe fucking capitalism. It's the craziest fucking thing. Why are they even, like... Can we get some context here why they're even chasing him? It's unclear what happened immediately before or after the videos were recorded. Police have not identified the officers. Of course, there's nothing wrong with having a little dick. It's when you overcompensate for it, which is what idiot-ass right-wingers do. I do support dicks of all sizes. Matter of fact, you ain't fucking me unless you got a little dick. Guy the other night, though, he was pretty... I didn't size shame, you dumb fuck. The problem is when you overcompensate and it leads to toxic masculinity. But of course, the cops are going to do everything they can to cover up. Police said in a statement that the incident began when officers responded to a call about a possible shooting in the El Cerrito neighborhood. So it's a possible shooting. They don't even know if this guy is their suspect. Shortly afterwards, officers found a 29-year-old man who had been shot multiple times. Oh, well, hold on. According to the video released this week, witnesses told officers about a vehicle that fled after the shooting. The police video begins with aerial video from a helicopter that locates the suspected getaway vehicle. Helicopter video at one point shows a police vehicle following a car before it stops in a parking lot near 54th Street and El Cajun Boulevard. Man gets out of the vehicle and begins to run, the video shows. Aerial video also shows two officers getting out of a patrol vehicle. The man who ran exited the vehicle with a gun in his hand. A voice on the video says over the police airwaves. All seems like speculation to me. And they're like running in between cars in a drive-thru at like a McDonald's.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun now!
Shot him in the back.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
He appeared to make a motion with a gun in his hand.
Hands on your back!
This is a Mickey D's. As I understand it, their ice cream machine never works. Johnny Harris has like a fucking 50-minute video about the conspiracy behind the McDonald's ice cream machine. And of course it's capitalism. It's just capitalism. That's all there is to it. And that actually goes back to Sam Cedar had on a fantastic guest yesterday about the right to repair. Like, farmers can't repair their tractors because, you know, John Deere owns the license to the tractor. You have to take it to an authorized dealer. Like, fucking Apple products. That's one of the reasons why I don't fucking do Apple. Now, Producer Dave wants to get me over on the Linux. Now, I'm not willing to go that far because I have fucking programs that are only available on Windows. I'd have to dual partition anyway to go over to Linux. What's the beside the point. We had a pacifist last night. What if you are interested in the McDonald's ice cream machines? Watch that Johnny Harris video. That was the dude that did the Borders videos on Vox. They let him go during the pandemic. Now he's independent. He might have just left. I don't know how that happened. Independent is where it's at. Where did we have a pacifist? Was the pacifist in here? Like, I tend to be a pacifist. Like, these cops are in the wrong here. They shouldn't have used force.
Roll over your stomach! Roll over your stomach!
We don't know how many times they fucking shot him already.
31 rolling medics, subject hit.
I'm against it. I think the cops are in the wrong. I don't think you should be allowed to shoot somebody in the back. Oh my God. He made a motion with a gun.
State Attorney's Office releasing disturbing surveillance images showing
fucking he ran for how long? If he was gonna shoot you, he would have fucking shot you. But I mean, we saw what happened in Chicago. The kid dropped the gun and they still shot him. No, it is never okay for a cop to shoot a citizen in the back. Ever. That is a violation of the Constitution. Right-wingers are fucking morons for arguing with that shit. You fascist fuck. No. Not how it works. A cop's job is to put his life on the line. It's to die, if necessary, to make sure that man makes it to court. It's a fucking fact right-wingers don't want to have to grapple with. Literally what it says in our fucking Constitution. You guys don't care. You guys don't give a shit about freedom. You think freedom is bitching about masks to fucking protect the public from a deadly virus. But you're okay with cops shooting citizens in the back. I am so goddamn tired of you people. Feel embarrassment. I wish you could feel embarrassment. Fuck. Absolute fucking morons. A cop's job is to die if necessary to make sure the person makes it to court. Do you want me to read the 4th fucking amendment to you? A cop's job is to die if necessary. Are you telling me that you think it's okay for the government to shoot a citizen in the back? You're telling me that it's okay for the government to shoot a citizen in the back? That is what a right-winger that believes in freedom, don't tread on me, all that fucking bullshit is telling me. No, it's not. No, not. Was that the guy's name? Louis Rossman? Fuck, I'm totally behind because I repair my own shit, and that's one of the reasons why I don't fuck with Apple or anything. And I'm certainly not giving the power to idiot-ass cops that are corrupt as shit. No, sir. No, sir. Our courts have ruled that a cop's duty is not to protect a citizen. You stupid fuck. In 2005, the United States Supreme Court ruled that police do not have a constitutional duty to protect a person from harm. I know this because it's one of the many stories that I point to about how fucking cops are useless. It is not their job to protect somebody. No. They watched a hero subdue a fucking stabber on a subway. What do you mean I remember that I just said that? I bring up this point all the time. I clearly was aware of it and pulled it out quickly. No. Their job is the law, you stupid fuck. You don't get to say morally, typically it's their job. No, their job is to follow the law. Their job is to follow the law. They have no duty to protect. You don't get to pull it out when you want to fucking suck a cop's cock. The fucking rulings that led to this were cops not protecting people. You don't get to have cops sometimes protect people, and then other times when they're shooting somebody in the back say, oh, well, it was to protect somebody. You don't get to do that. Right-wingers are disingenuous pieces of shit. And I can't believe a right-winger would argue that they want to give power to the state to murder citizens in the street. What the fuck? Are you stupid? Why would you do that? Supposedly you're against that. Oh, but you want to go protest masks. Dumbest fucks walking the planet. A hiker found dead on an Arizona mountain after her cop Instagram date abandoned her. But I thought it's the cop's job to protect people. He was out on a date with a woman, and it wasn't even his moral obligation to protect her. A young woman died on July 30th while hiking up a mountain in Arizona in the searing heat with a police officer pal that she met on Instagram who allegedly left her when she began having difficulties. That's the assholes you want to give power to. A cab indeed. Angela Tremonte, 31, from the town of Saugus, in the greater Boston area was visiting a man she met on Instagram 2 months ago in Phoenix. Oh my God. Don't ever go fucking meet a cop you met online. Jesus. Tremonte was visiting Phoenix for the first time to meet her Instagram friend. Name not disclosed, because of course the cops aren't going to tell us who he was. He took her hiking up Camelback Mountain, said to be a difficult climb even for experienced hikers, in the intense July sun. They set off at around 10 a.m. without water. The temperature that day ended up being around 104 degrees. According to fire officials, Tremonte decided to turn around because it was too hot. However, her partner, who friends said was a Phoenix police officer, wanted to keep going to the top, so they separated. When the officer couldn't find her on his return down the mountain, he called 911 and reported her missing around 1 p.m. Piece of shit. Absolute piece of shit. Tremonte's body was found near a property at the foot of the mountain about 4 hours later. Police said she probably collapsed while seeking assistance for dehydration and heat exhaustion. There were no signs of traumatic injury in either the initial investigation or the autopsy. The officer who was with Tremonte is cooperating with investigators, police said. He's been offered personal time off and resources to deal with the He should be fucking fired because he clearly can't be trusted to protect and serve. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to victim blame here. Foul play is not suspected at present. However, the victim's friends say the circumstances of Tremonte's death appear suspicious. I agree. And I do not trust cops to investigate themselves. That's for fucking sure. GoFundMe page called Justice for Angela has been set up. That so far has achieved $23,000 of its $40,000 goal. The investigation into her death continues. Investigate that fucking cop. I bet he had something to do with it.
Small town in Wyoming.
Yeah, we don't want to know about the small town in Wyoming. That's not what the video. The video is different from the piece that we want to read here. Oh, we do have video though from Anderson Cooper 360. So, tech mogul Bill Gates opened up about his divorce from wife Melinda Gates and his much criticized relationship with disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein that she reportedly took issue with. I wonder why she would take issue with it.
Lots to talk about with our first guest tonight, Bill Gates, who we've talked to at critical points all throughout this pandemic. His foundation, of course, has donated billions of dollars.
I do not want to hear about, I don't want to hear about fucking Bill Gates, and he has exacerbated this pandemic with his so-called philanthropy.
For being with us tonight. I really appreciate it. There's a lot to get to regarding the pandemic, but since we last spoke, there's obviously been a lot of reporting about more personal topics, and they may impact the foundation. So I want to just ask you a couple of questions about that, and I know you feel some things have been misreported, so I'll just start there.
Do tell us, Billy boy.
Your wife, Melinda, announced you were ending your marriage after 27 years. On Monday, this week, the divorce was finalized. Just on a personal level, how are you doing?
It's definitely a very sad milestone. And Melinda's a great person. That part
That's hilarious.
Coming to an end is a source of great personal sadness. We are.
Well, I wanted to bitch about him and his fucking way of protecting the IP for vaccine manufacturers.
Like a 2-year trial period to see that if you two can continue to work together. That's.
I don't give a fuck about his divorce. I want to hear about Epstein.
Melinda has incredible strengths that she brings that help the foundation be better. We always enjoyed our work together.
So I take it you're a Windows user.
Leaders and help build the organization. So, that would be definitely the best thing.
Asa Hutchinson in Arkansas is not the worst Republican, that's for sure.
Out there, I want to ask you about, and think it's no one's business what happens in a person's marriage. The New York Times and Wall Street Journal both reported in recent months that Melinda was concerned about a relationship you had with Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time you met him in 2011 had been already...
Let's spill the tea, Bill.
...prostitution from a minor. The Times reported she hired divorce attorneys around the time in October 2019 when that contact with Epstein became public. Can you explain your relationship with Epstein? Did you have any concerns? Was there ever any concerns you had about it?
Oh, certainly. You know, I had several dinners with him, you know, hoping that what he said about getting billions of philanthropy for global health through...
Jesus Christ! Man, did I call it.
You know, when it looked like that wasn't a real thing, that relationship ended. But it was a huge mistake to spend time with him, to get...
Man, did I call it. I said I'd be banned on Facebook by the time I got back on there after doing the show. I actually forgot to get us a puppy picture. Puppy video. I can't post or comment for 30 days. Because this dude shared out something I said and said that I got his friend reported. And he spelled it censorship as in censorship. Oh, shit. So he reported me for making fun of him for saying censorship. Oh, these fucking idiots.
Give him the credibility of, you know, being there. There were lots of others in that same situation, but I made a mistake.
There's been reporting about workplace behavior in the past. The New York Times reported 6 women from Microsoft, the company you created, your foundation, and the financial firm that manages your fortune said that your behavior at times created an uncomfortable workplace environment. I know a spokeswoman...
Look at that fucking smug asshole.
20 years ago with a Microsoft employee that she said ended amicably. Do you have regrets?
Well, certainly I think everyone does. But, you know, it's a time of reflection and, you know, at this point I need to go forward. You know, my work is very important.
We need to go forward with building the boards.
You know, within the family, we'll heal as best we can and learn from what's happened.
Well, just on a personal level, I'm sorry for what you and your family are going through. Let's
I don't give a shit.
Involved in the fight against COVID. Let's talk about where we are right now, because I mean, this is probably the question I've started off.
He has been a huge detriment to the fight against COVID.
Where do you see us in this pandemic? I mean, the Delta variant is surging. Only about half the country has been fully vaccinated. Is this where you thought we would be on August 4th, 2021?
No. Things are better than I expected in terms of how effective the key vaccines are, you know, including Pfizer and
okay, yeah.
Also some that are ramping up now, like Johnson & Johnson. So the good news is the ability of the vaccine to prevent severe disease and death, even against the latest variant, and the ramp up of that manufacturing, that's going at an unprecedented pace. The bad news is that this Delta variant is uniquely transmissive. The Beta variant, which we saw in South Africa with a foundation-funded study there, it had some ability to evade protection. But now Delta, even though it doesn't evade as much as Beta, it is...
I'm not a pacifist, but overall, like, I'm non-violent. I won't say that Bill Gates doesn't have a punchable face, though. All right, we need a palate cleanser after all this bullshit. I'm not going to subject you guys to the last story I was going to do. That is interesting, isn't it? Quality on Gates does look a lot better than CNN's. I've noticed that on a lot of shows. Like Mehdi Hassan Like, he's got some kind of webcam thing going on, and it's like a green screen background behind him. I don't know what is going on. I think maybe Anderson is still quarantined. I don't know. Oh, like a dude. I wish I could show you the post, but I can't show you the post because he deleted it long. But like, I guess he deleted it when he reported it or some shit. But he said I reported his friend. I did. Because I don't let people say things to me. I have to curb my language on Facebook in order to not get banned. Some good it does. So I'm not going to let people insult me in ways that I can't insult them. I'm not going to let them get away with it. So he accused me of reporting his friend and said it was censorship. S-E-N-O-R. Censor. Oh, yeah, the unicorn. Oh, this is still my favorite, though. This is the Fort Rucker Fire Rescue. Now, it doesn't look perfect. If you look at it, you're going to be like, oh, well, that's clearly a Photoshop. You know, I didn't do it perfectly. I didn't spend that much time on it. You zoom into the sign. I don't like. Are you guys replying to threads? Because to me, it looks like you guys are talking to the Restream bot, and I think you're replying to threads on Twitch, and it's just like it's throwing me off. I don't see the colors either. They're all gray to me. Like a puppy, everything's gray. I don't think that's true. Like they seem like reds and blues or something, don't they? Speaking of puppies, let's see one. This puppy likes to get into the trunk of a car. Look at this cute little thing. I guess there's no sound, unfortunately. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit! Speaking of animals, there's a cat ass. Got a Smokey. Hi, Smokey. Say hey, everybody. Say hey, Smokey. The cat ass makes an appearance. He loves showing off his ass. All right, back to this husky that likes to get into the trunk of a car. Wait for it, wait for it. Look how cute he is. Because it feels weird shutting him in like that, but oh, he likes to stick his hand through. Look how adorable. Look at that face. Look at that face. How fucking sweet is that? That makes me so happy. Watch it one more time. Yeah, at first I'm like, why are you putting that puppy in the trunk? But the puppy's into it. He's so sweet. That could be it. That could be a Sparkle says I'm Mr. Peanut Butter. I don't get that at all. Mr. Peanut Butter's not angry like I am all the time. But apparently it's like the fact that like I'm very spacey. I'm very much in Justin world all the time. Mr. Peanut Butter is in Mr. Peanut Butter world. Yeah. Okay. All right, puppy. Watch him stick his head through one more fucking time. Oh, it's so adorable. He's very happy about it. Look at it. Look at that face. Look at that face. All right, guys. If you are watching on Twitch, I'm going to send you over to USA Asshole. USA Hole. USA Hole. USA Hole. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I am Justin Freakin. Remember, no Troll Patrol tomorrow night. We're going to see you on Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. 1 week from tomorrow is the Friday Night Freak Show, so be sure to tune in for that.